ENCE have a lot to show us. They didn't really show us anything in that first map. Thank you, Alex, and the rest of the desk. I don't expect the Renegades that we saw in those previous matches, just the way that Mirage went. I think they're going to have plugged some of the holes now. We'll see what ENCE can do. They start on the T side. Even on the CT side, when they started in the first half, Renegades didn't have all the success in the world. And it's not going to go well in this pissed round, it seems, although it's not over just yet. 2 players do remain. You can see Alexi looking for a rotation, looking for a push through the lobby. Doesn't happen just yet. JKS by control, takes one in the face. Still alive though, and Azza will take a player out as well. So now it's a one-man advantage, but looking to push. The door is being ripped. They're not allowed in. The bouncer says no, but they'll force their way. They'll get the final kills. The pistol goes to ENCE.
And this is a map though where it's obviously that's not the start that Renegades won. Maybe flashbacks to that game against Na'Vi where they were absolutely trounced. But I'm hoping that Renegades will have done some level of decent prep that could patch some of those huge holes that they had, because I mean it was just some basic rotations and understanding how to play that on their CT side that really caused them problems when they were playing against Na'Vi. It should be easy fixes.
Did you see Alu's face just there? It's the second round. It's on the pistol, but there seems to be some frustration. I don't know if it's like disagreement or something, but I do wonder what the meaning of that is. They started off on the right foot, but it seems the mood might not be in the right place just yet.
Well, and this is a dangerous round too. You know, the 4 spotters on Nuke on the CT side are very strong, so you have to be cautious in how you handle these. You've got to be very routine and drilled. And we've seen that Renegades individually, they are feeling it already off of the back of that first map. So if Renegades are to have a performance on Nuke, if they are to 2-0, as Chaz suggested, then it would be, they are in the perfect position, given that they had such a hot first map, to get everybody feeling it. And ENCE individually, they're still looking to get that feeling themselves, but by having a good performance in this map, this second map. But again, Renegades would have known that this would come up, this map in this series, so perhaps they have something up their sleeves. And ENCE have got to be careful. They are killing the time. They're burning the time right now. And here's a great response. JKS, perfect timing on the smoke grenade. That's going to slow things down even more for ENCE. They don't really have much real estate. And if JKS gets some kills, if they try to push him, then there's more problems. They're going to go back towards Squeaky now, James.
Yeah, they don't have anyone outside, it seems.
30 seconds.
Yeah, they've got some they've thrown 1 grenade basically outside. The smoke grenade is up towards the T-red position, but there's going to be issues here to deal with on the ramp. So far, so good. We've got late rotations going down the ramp position, but what can Renegades do on the B bomb site? They've got control of the vent. They're making their way down. 15 seconds. The bomb planter better have the best cover in the world. He better have life insurance, because otherwise this is going to go the way of Renegades. They're just now starting to plant the bomb, and this is a really nervous situation for ENCE, but they managed to survive. Some tags through the wall, I think, from Gratisfaction, but importantly, the bomb has been planted, and now they have position. Do Renegades try to push, or do they go for a reset in the third round?
Yeah, so Azza's already falling back towards CT spawn, so yeah, it looks like they are going to just all relax and fall back. And as you say, keep what they have into that next round, make it a second very scary round. Azza has a couple of flashbangs still, too, to bring into that next round. So that's going to be fun to see how Renegades might use them. And I mean, this could have gone really badly for ENCE. Obviously, there was like 7 seconds when the bomb was being planted. And a JKS, you know, there is definitely ordering this a kill or 2 kills there. And Renegades just pounce on ENCE, and then ENCE just run out of time trying to plant the bomb because it's so heavily contested. So yeah, that's a scary one. And now they've got to do it all over again.
I like the decision making from Renegades. Even in losing that round, it's clean and it's decisive. And I feel like that's one of the differences we've seen from them in this tournament, is just decisiveness.
Yeah.
From when they started to turn things around. And that has gone in their favor. Now let's see how ENCE deal with a basic reset of the situation. Maybe they run into the Mag 7 of Liaz. I don't know if that was revealed in the previous round. I don't think it was. He was up on the hut roof of A on the ramp prior. This time there's more grenades and more presence from ENCE towards the outside, or potential presence. They've got a Molotov towards the stairs. And there are more question marks to be had for Renegades. A shot through the smoke, and this time the ramp is clear.
There's a bit of damage. softening X7 up to scout, perhaps. Oh, hello, goodbye. That's not a good side for Renegades. Very fast positioning has been picked up by ENCE here, doing way better than the previous round and getting the real estate that they need to secure the bomb plant. And once you've done that, you've pretty much dealt with the force buy. There's no kits to be seen, so Renegades, what is the option here? They will be, of course, able to buy in the following round, so they're going for some damage. Nice shot from X7, down to 2 HP, but he's looking good. And Renegades, they need to get some damage. They really need to keep the economy honest of ENCE. And there is one kill at the very least. Can they find anything else? A gun could be collected. There's the UMP. Looks like the Kevlar will be saved here. And the grenades. Gratisfaction obviously had no Kevlar, so not too much loss for Gratisfaction.
We'll see if they choose to hold on to the Mag 7. There is some utility for it on the A-bomb site, but it's maybe not favoured for people who aren't JW. 3-0 start for ENCE. So far, so good. Still need to show us something to believe in after the start we saw on Mirage. Strong from Renegades, and it's very early here on Nuke. The AWP is out for Gratisfaction. He will be naked. The rest of the team will have their Kevlar. So there'll be a UMP for Liaz, but the Mag 7 will be left in spawn. And out come Renegades with a mixed bag. AKs and SMGs. Sergey with the MP5. Again, worse than the MP7. Apart from the lack of traces. Gratisfaction, he likes to get into this position the fast way. And that's a pretty reliable play he makes, but he's got Jacob for support in a very forward position. And this is going to take a lot of information for Renegades, and ENCE might not be prepared for this.
Yeah, I like the presence of the AWP there. It kind of allows Jacob to have this position because they can't peek him from the top of that silo because they're too worried about getting AWP'd. So that's what allows Jacob to be in that spot. So that's a nice setup, and a lot of time is being killed here. You see Alex make his way forward. The timing, though, oh, he's just been spotted. Won't go down, but there goes the forward incendiary. That's going to mess up the timings here for ENCE. So they might be forced to play an extremely slow round. And Gratisfaction, meanwhile, we can see he's rotated with that AWP of his in towards the ramp position. And it looks like ENCE might want to get some ground towards this spot. So they're going to be having to contend with Gratz, and he's going to hit the first one. How many more? Oh, goes for the hard shot there. Can't land it, but there goes the support, and this is a good look here for Renegades. Another frag from JKS, and Gratisfaction is ready in a 1 versus 1 with the AWP, and it doesn't look like there's much for ENCE really to do. X7 will try to find a way to get a kill, but time is also against him.
Gratz done his job, held position, held the ramp with no Kevlar, no less, and there's only one frag in that round for ENCE. Still, it's not too late for a strong start to the first half for Renegades, despite having lost a pistol. That rotation from Gratisfaction's fantastic. Starts off with a very fast attempt at a kill by that secret position and makes his way towards ramp once Jacob's in a secured position. Really nice stuff from Renegades. Still, seeing a lot of promise from them, potentially, on this CT side of Nuke. But the buy is out for ENCE. That wasn't the strongest buy from them. Again, they had 2 SMGs in that round. Now they have 4 AKs in the Galil for X7 and a lot of utility. If they win this round, maybe there's an opportunity to steal an AWP. The squeaky door's been blown off. No smoke towards main, though. See Jacob's in main at the moment. And Liaz is on the high ground today.
Here we go, fast play. Jacob takes himself the spray, the double comes through, and a third goes through the smoke. That is outrageous, and that feels like a glimpse from Mirage, James, just that confidence in making, like, converting like that. And they've got to find their individual performances because, sure, as they mentioned on the desk, yeah, you can just win with position on a map like this, but on the T side, you do have to be able to get those entry frags, and right now, Renegades are connecting.
Jacob with the brazen play through the smoke and still gets the frag as well. That is beautiful confidence from the man. Been so strong. A great addition to the Renegades team. ENCE now down to the pistols. Their success was short-lived. And it was maybe non-existent in that first game. A third smoke, so there's no gap in the middle, it seems. Or just in case of a Molotov. They'll make their way down towards Secret. Azza might get caught here. Indeed he will. Sergey's a trade with the P250. CZ collected. The bomb plot will be fantastic, but JKS has got something to say about that, or does he? seems like there might be a stolen round here for ENCE.
Yeah, it's looking really likely there. Both JKS and, well, Azza was a little bit slow. He needed an extra half a second to get into position to play the headshot angles, but gets punished. And here comes the retake attempt from Renegades. It's going to be tough. Oh, the nade does some good damage, but the timing of the CZ from Alexi B will absolutely cripple this retake attempt. It's just JKM left. It's all he can do to try to maybe get this AWP and just run away with it. That might be the play. There it is. Gets the pickup, has the fire to cover his tracks and allow him to get some space so he can get to safety. But that was a little bit sloppy, James, from Renegades, and ENCE punished them hard.
Well, I think Renegades played it well to begin with. They ENCE set up for a crossfire, basically, for a bait and switch setup, but Renegades had a double HEs to stop that, to catch the first player. But again, yeah, no one was watching for that second player, for that trade fragger who got 2 kills for free, unanswered kills, shut down the round, and maybe it won't be so simple for Renegades. They've got money, however, and that's an important save of the AWP, so they will rebuy, and they may end up with a better buy than ENCE, unless ENCE can spread the money well. That is a surprising win, and again, Renegades won't want to lose too many rounds like that, but better to lose one early than lose one late.
And then they need to start building that security in rounds on the CT side. It was very troubling for them against Na'Vi. We saw perhaps one of the worst performances we've seen out of Renegades for quite some time, but obviously they still managed to clinch that series with Vertigo.
ENCE have 95% of the pick'em selections for this series. 95%.
Damn.
I don't think, for me, I don't think any of the matches are more than a 60-40. I think it's like a really dangerous bracket in that respect. So there could be a colossal upset in this series. And it started off well for Renegades. ENCE back on the buy once again. Grab trying to get to Secret, but he's completely blind. There's no idea where he is, but somehow he still makes it down there. Jacob in a forward position. That flashbang comes in just in time. Ariel gets the worst of it, and it's 4 versus 5.
Oh, it says the punish though. Ali pushes forwards. He's going to keep this going with the pace. Liaz is occupied, and Ali's going to come and finish him off. Azza has to do it all here. Stuck in the corner of the bomb site, and he can't do enough. 2 versus 2 now for Renegades. They've lost the upper bomb site. X7 and Alexi B don't have much in the way of utility left. Just one Molotov on Alexi B, and they have to go for the plant. And Renegades are already in position. They might have a good shout for this one.
Alexi P's got a Molotov. Does it go to the heaven position? Does he feel like he's safe to throw it? That would be an MVP play at the moment. He might not realize he's got it if he just walks and picks it up. Second CT makes his way into that position. X7 holding the angle. Alexi B looking for the squeaky door to be going on for the time being. Gratisfaction flying to his doom. Stereo back for ENCE. And they're on the board again. 5-2.
Only Simple can do that. Gratisfaction. You got to be careful with that AWP, the flying AWP, and indeed ENCE. It's such a big round to win. Renegades, of course, do still have some bank to work with, but they've got to pick and choose carefully. Gratisfaction would be able to purchase an AWP, but we've got JKM, JKS, and Liaz all under $4,000. So it's not really an ideal situation for them to do a fully committed buy. But you know, in doing that eco round, you're going to be conceding another round most likely to ENCE. And you know what? They're going to go for it because they can get the AWP on Gratisfaction. We're going to actually see a full buy from Renegades here. A lot is going to be left to be decided in terms of the buy for JKS, Liaz, and Jacob. I'd imagine we're going to see some SMGs and lack of utility. Okay, looks like we get an M4 onto JChem. So there'll be firepower in this round. But the issue, James, is that the Renegades can't really play a long drawn-out round. They can't really play retakes. They have to try to take the initiative early in this round.
It's interesting if you look at the Gratisfaction's got 1 kill at the moment, but let's not forget how important he was with that 1 kill towards the ramp, holding up ENCE for one of the rounds where Renegades were successful. Ariel taken down early. Another quick 5 versus 4 for Renegades. Much needed with their lack of utility, the shortcomings they have in this round. The UMP, the MP9. Gratisfaction not trying to jump peek for information. It's so... Oh! Sit down, sir. Never mind everything I was about to say. But still, they retain the man advantage. Jacob is there to trade, and more importantly, to hold position. ENCE can't be in secret, and that's huge info for Renegades with only 3 ENCE players remaining.
That was a disgusting shot from Alu. But indeed, we'll have to see if it's going to amount to anything that ENCE can really work with as the time is running lower and lower, and they finally start to make their move towards the outside, where now Jakim is there with the AWP. They had a bait set up between Jakim and Gratisfaction. Jakim will take over the AWPing duties now he's collected the Fallen AWP. And he's going to see X7 soon. Oh, that might have been the chance for X7 there. You can see that the rotation comes in immediately. Jakim doesn't risk another peek. Gets the info that X7's moving outside by himself, and that's going to tell them quite a lot here. They can definitely deduce that. Another plays incoming, and here it goes. Try to find Liaz, and eventually he will go down. Azza from the corner gets himself a double. That leaves Renegades in a favorable situation. A 2 versus 1, but they will have to retake with the bomb down.
Smoke to create some space. He might hear one of the CTs in a lobby position. He saw some running there on the X-ray. Jakim comes up a bit too early. Pulling out the CZ. How on earth has he got that kill? Through the smoke, JKS will trade. There were so many chances there for X7. He must have heard the running in the lobby position. 1v1 versus an up the ladder. Almost, but not quite. Renegades managed to hold on, but look at their money. Their money absolutely sucks. Liaz has got nothing, literally nothing in the bank, so next buy is going to be a difficult one for Renegades, and ENCE might have a chance to reset.
Yeah, it's going to be really telling around this next one, and I've got to say, speaking of things that are telling, X7, you know, that kind of first whiff there, he looks really uncomfortable, and
it's got to be nerves, man.
Yeah, it does look a lot like that, yeah, which it was not something I would expect to that degree. So we'll see if they can kind of calm the camp there, the ENCE camp, as we do get a respite in this freeze time, a moment to breathe. But here we go, once again back into it. Round 9 begins, and as James mentioned, Renegades spending absolutely everything, but ENCE are in the same boat. They've got no money left as well. So this is a huge round, and here we go. We get the drop down the vent straight away, coming in from ENCE. Fast positioning, and Ali picks off Jakim. Renegades are in troubled waters.
Do they realize that Alexi B is in or near around the B bomb site? That's been a consistent issue for Renegades so far. That will certainly help though. 4v4. They continue to look outside. Now, in some older games of Nuke, we can see JKS, he realizes, you can see where he's aiming. I was going to say, do ENCE open a door downstairs while there's some spray upstairs? Do they smash a window downstairs while they're making noise somehow to allow XCB to advance his position? That's not happening, and he's looking for someone to rotate and try and defend, but maybe they realize they've got some power with those sound cues, so they'll just hold towards the ramp. That gap could be painful. Not crossing it just yet. Running over now. They've got a flashbang to help them. Doesn't quite go far enough. And they know that the secret area has been compromised. But what can Alexi do from this position? He's waiting for the CT rotation. He hasn't seen Azza, who's made his way onto the elevated position. Alexi focusing on the ramp area. JKS is there as well. Azza might get two. King of the multi-frag, but not on this occasion. JKS has been waiting. 30 seconds on the clock, and now it's 2 versus 2. Sergey and his teammate need to get that bomb down. Sergey might just see Gratisfaction, who goes for the alternative angle. That won't work out. Now he doesn't have the range of an MP9. So far, so good though. Looking for the second one, but he can't quite get there. Sergey, the last man standing, gets the round for ENCE.
Oh, what a critical round to pick up for ENCE. Absolutely smashing the economy of Renegades. They are in so much trouble now. Oh, that was so huge. Really clutch stuff running in down onto that lower bomb side. Things looked pretty grim from time to time, but they managed to make it work. And that is what is important. And I feel like, you know, as we see these rounds build, as we see ENCE begin to win these fights, we're going to see them be much more confident. I am still seeing from Renegades, though, they're bringing that individual performance we saw from the first map, but they're not really finding enough spots to really convert to those round wins. We get a fast run here from ENCE to play against the eco of Renegades. Although Liaz has picked up a headshot with a P250. That's not ideal, and now Ariel might have to try to protect the weapon.
The rest of ENCE are moving towards that ramp position, and it seems Ariel will fall back further to try and avoid being swarmed, spotting some of Azza. So keeping the CTs honest, but if he is to fall there, then that would be a really dangerous situation for ENCE. So he's got to be careful. If there's a push through lobby, for example, then things could get super weird, but he's still trying to protect the weapon for now, and you can see the hunger on the CT, but now they're starting to swarm and get a little closer. Ariel doing an okay job for now, but soon he'll run low on bullets. You can hear it. He's got to pull a pistol out. There's one elevated, and he will fall. So it's going to be 2 AK-47s in a 3 versus 3. That bomb hasn't been down for too long. They could consider something here, Renegades.
Yeah, absolutely, and these AKs are just huge going forward, especially again seeing some of the performances we have on Renegades, but effectively that's going to save Renegades, well, $6,000 or so moving forwards. And that is very much needed as their economy has been quite stretched. But there goes JKS, that's what the gun's got. And his faction needs to stay alive with his. Of course, he really wants to do some damage to the economy events, but you've got to keep that AK at this point. Spray comes through, but it's unlikely to find the kill, and indeed it will not. So just one AK collected in the end by Renegades. So back into the buy they'll go, but they're looking down at the scoreline right now, and their deficit is not too good. 3 against the 7 of ENCE.
At this point, if you're Renegades, I think you need to start asking how many rounds do we need at a minimum for this half. You can see there are some frustrations now on one of the more consistent players for Renegades. 3 rounds on the board. Do you aim for 6? Do you aim for 7 maybe? Let's see. Ariel has got a place to be. He's got his buster kit in hand, and it seems like the team do as well. Once again, a giant hole in that short position, or is it? Azza gets a team kill assist, so there will be 2 falling for ENCE, but a bomb will be planted quickly.
Yeah, those 2 kills really make all the difference. Ali will take down Jacob outside, but right now it's more about that lower bomb side. Alexi B threatening the flank, and with all of that, that means that X7's actually alone on the bomb side. He's alone, and that means Alexi B has to play his card, and he'll go forwards, and Gratisfaction will take him down. And now Alu has to save the day. 1 versus 3. That bomb is freshly planted here. Renegades start to apply the pressure as they go for the bomb defuse, but Alu's going to have to spray. Nade in his hand, smoked off, has to go through with the flashbang, doing what he can, but it is not enough, and Renegades with the steal.
It's unfortunate for Alu trying to make a play through the site. He had the angle for the bomb plant. Could have estimated it, but with the CT so close, it might have insta-punished him through the smoke. Who knows? No perfect play in that situation. Renegades managed to survive. Again, we raise a question as to what the minimum number of CT rounds is for them in this half. That was a beautiful adjustment from Gratisfaction. Spins his mouse and afflicts the correction at the end. Marvelous stuff. They've got 4 rounds on the board. Can they make it to 6? Short-term goals. Make it to 6 and then set another goal after that. Both teams will be on the buy. That bomb plant is really crucial for ENCE. You can see the limitations in their grenades. They've got the rifles out for the most part. Well, for all the part. Everybody's on the rifles, no SMGs or funny business like that. Renegades have a different approach to dealing with that squeaky position, going down the vents, just having Azza there waiting to delete people. He's pretty good at that.
How much can Gratisfaction do here? Jake can slow them down. That will allow Gratisfaction more time on the peak. Oh, Alexi B, great return there onto Grat. So it will be a 1-for-1 after all. But you can see the information was gained there. They saw a lot on the radar. Ali will pick off Jacob though. That's a problem now for Renegades, because Alexi B is going to feel more confident now, pushing outside as well as the lower position as well towards Secret. Both positions have been compromised. It feels like the map is being constricted around Renegades and their defense at this point. JKS still has the ramp, but you can see that he's going to try to make a play here. They've got to do something to get information, to try to take initiative, because ENCE are in a very strong position, and they're trying to wait out a play like this, but do they have the right guess?
Sergey may have heard Azza jumping into the vent earlier on. Not 100% sure. There's going to be a high variance situation now in the lobby, but Sergey's the one to look first. Alu still waiting, misses his shot. But that's one of the 2 players remaining. They know where he is, so they can use the numbers, abuse the numbers towards this A bomb site. Now they know Azza's the last man standing towards Secret. His options have been taken away. Such a joy to watch Azza in this match so far. The multi-frags in that first map were awesome. The whole team of Renegades have been firing on all cylinders since they started winning matches in the last stage. But ENCE are about to move to 8 unless Azza's got some funky business.
Yeah, and the problem for Renegades too is that the kind of pattern of the rounds in which they have won means that their loss bonus is not going to be quite as good as you'd like. So we'll see what they'll be bringing into the next round, but I don't know that it will really be all that much. ENCE are now so strong. They're looking for the double digits for sure at this point. As they're trying to survive, and so trying to hunt him down, and there it is. Alexi B will take down Azza. All the weapons removed from Renegades, and indeed, it's $2,000 to $3,000 for the Renegades players, so they need to go for a save, buy a few PT50s, a flashbang, something like that, and ENCE will be likely picking up that 9th one pretty soon.
Renegades' loss bonus is not amazing, and indeed they are broke as pocus. There will not be much to bring into this round. The CZ for Azza, the P250 for JKS, and that might be about it. No grenades, no nothing. So we'll see how they choose to abuse something. I mean, all they have really to abuse is their numbers to trade. Someone's got to take a bullet for the president if they choose to make an aggression somewhere. But of course that will be looked for, and ENCE have time, so hard to decide when to make a play. But it looks like Renegades could burst from garage and main at the same time around this outside position. But it's all guesswork. The smoke grenades will isolate the options. X7's got to be careful. That smoke will help. When you stand up there, your shadow is shown at the bottom of main. That's one taken down. Of course, the smoke will obscure their vision. Oh, that's an AK in a very difficult place to protect now. Again, that's one use for HE grenades. Oh my god, his friend has gone away, and he could have been facing two with the dualies. That will certainly help. Alu doing it in style. But there's still a gun on the floor as they're jumping towards the vent position. There's some spray, but oh dear. Is there a trade? There is a trade. Lexi B will take care of the rest. Okay, everything's fine. That could have been really awkward, but it wasn't. 9 rounds for ENCE.
Yeah, it's definitely looking a lot better. But in comes the buy once more for Renegades. And I'm wondering if, I don't know that they will be able to get the AWP onto Gratisfaction, so they may have a different style of play moving into this round. We'll have to see how heavily they'll contest the outside. It would be quite cool to see an aggressive setup, 2 to 3 players from Renegades early in the round. We'll find out very shortly. Only with the 1 kit on JKS, you can see some of the limitations, some of the shortcomings of the Renegades economy. And indeed, they'll be pushing 2 players outside quite aggressively with these M4s. And there is Gratisfaction back there as well, who can, of course, offer support from further away. Ariel is investigating. You do need to deal with any CTs if they are close in these positions. Going through the smoke, very unfavorable, and Azza will punish and pick up the AK for his trouble.
High risk situation there for Ariel. What if you're wrong? If you're wrong, you're dead. Alexi B trying to make his way through the A-bomb site, but he sees absolutely nothing as they're charging through the smoke now. So many CTs, but the trades are going back and forth. 1v3 for Sergey, only for half a second. Renegades prevail. They survived with 3 players moving into the last round of the first half. Really important for them. They need that extra cash. That was a fast one, but a brief one at the same time. 5 rounds on the board. Still a chance for those 6 rounds for Renegades, and maybe that will be enough.
Yeah, I think, you know, if they can show a T side, obviously they won't have quite the T side they had on Mirage in terms of preparedness and comfort, but definitely, you know, 6 rounds is enough to work with on that CT side. But we'll see if they can get that 6th one. Here we go. Final rounds of the first half. They won't have an AWP, the Renegades, but they've also changed their approach pretty dramatically. No aggression outside. You can see ENCE were looking for it, but it won't be there. Instead, a more passive and slower approach from Renegades. Looking to get the information is Gratisfaction as he moves towards Secret. And also try to slow them down. J-Chem can play off of Gratisfaction. And there goes the flashbang. That is lethal. J-Chem with the AK finds a fast headshot and falls straight back. No punish possible. That's a good way to take an advantage.
That is a very strong statement from J-Chem. Some late momentum for Renegades in the first half, excuse me. Smoke towards main, but J-Chem will not respect it. Again, he will have a small shadow advantage. Can see one here. Alexi B taken out for free. He would have one on the high ground as well, but he'll fade away with that. It's going to be really hard for ENCE to do anything, I think, in this round. X7 just running in for Sergey to trade, but there's no trade. Very awkward angle. Liaz makes it as hard as possible. Ariel requires an ace now with 44 seconds on the clock, but Jacob says no. 6 rounds for Renegades at half-time. A nice comeback late on in the first half. Yeah,
a recovery, and I think you're right, James. You know, there is work to be done here for Renegades. They're going to be feeling a lot better about this new performance than their last one. So we'll have to see if they can do anything about this match, and maybe Chad's prophecy can come true, and they'll get that 2-0, but we will find out after the break. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Can Renegades make a comeback in this second half? Of course, on this map, on Nuke, you expect to see more dominant CT sides, more rounds on their CT sides, but this is the major playoffs. Anything can happen, and Renegades have already showed us that they have definitely woken up on the right side of the bed today because they are hitting some shots. And now they move on to the T side, and let's not forget that T side they had on map 1. Again, sure, it'll be more difficult for them on Nuke, but there is definitely a lot of work to be done here, and we'll be starting off with a molly and smoke on Azza. JKS will dump all the nades towards the squeaky door, towards that vent, as is so common. And ENCE will try to investigate with a cursory jab or two from Alu.
Now, this could be a trap. Having blown off the door, you have to be worried if you're a CT player. And here is the fake being offered into the A bomb site. Will it pull rotation? X7 will spot a lot of players coming towards the ramp. He backs off. He's got some information. Time to rotate for ENCE, but can he be sure of anything at this point? No frags just yet. Loads of Renegade players moving towards control. The bomb's going to be dropping. X7 trying to fall back to reload. Jacob with 2. X7 trying to do more. 3 from Jacob. Looking for an ace. We've got Sergey coming in from the back and Alu hiding on the site. Renegades holding position now by the double doors, waiting for a response from ENCE.
They're really making him sweat it out. A minute. That is a long time. Lots of time to play with. Lots of time in which ENCE might make a mistake. As Renegades have, as you say, just completely cut noise, being static. And the longer they do this, the more space ENCE have to move around. But there goes the smoke, making it safe. Alu not wanting to throw any shots across. The bomb's going to go down. And now Renegades have defensive positions. It's going to take something special here for ENCE to find the headshots they need, because they're going to have to attack into these dug-in positions, or maybe not. Jacob's going out. He's going to find himself the 4th kill. Sergey takes down JKS. And, well, there it is. The shutdown. Liaz secures it. But what a performance in this round from Jacob with the quad kill.
At half-time, I was saying to Dan that I'm kind of worried if I'm an ENCE fan right now. Renegades with 6 rounds on the board. I don't know, man. They're looking like a better team at the moment, despite the issues they've had historically on Nuke. They got 6 rounds on the board on their CT side. They've looked more confident, more decisive, and we've just seen better fragging from Renegades overall in this series, and that might be enough for them to find themselves a 2-0. They win the pistol. So now we're in a really interesting situation. The match is paused. Looks like a tech pause at present. There's no buying from ENCE just yet, but again, this is scary.
Yeah, it's extremely scary. Because indeed, as you say, Renegades have put ENCE in the position that ENCE put them in, which is you have this CD side where you want to have the AWP, you want to have all the utility in the world. And now Renegades could just take over the money game, and that makes it a situation where you have to take more risks on the CT side to get that momentum back in your favor. So yeah, no one wants to play from that position, and also Renegades are a team where, as you just mentioned about the individual ability, they can play the basics on these T sides really well in terms of playing the trade game. And if they focus around a more simplistic game plan like that, given the level that we have seen from every single player on Renegades individually, it makes me confident that could even be enough. And as you say, James, maybe like, what if there's a breakdown in ENCE? What if there's some tilting that happens? It's hard to say. We'll find all those answers out very shortly. But here is, of course, the opening rounds on the first half of this series. You get to see that dominance initially from ENCE, and JKS shows up.
All right, tech pause has been sorted out, and we will soon be back into the game. It is not going to be the sexiest round. It looks like it's an eco for ENCE, and the match has been paused again, so never mind. Maybe it'll be a slightly longer delay. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm terrified for my pick'ems. Okay, the unpause is coming in again, so we're only a few seconds away. Might be a good day for ENCE fans. It might not be. Renegades seem to be in the driving seat despite being 2 rounds behind. Of course, they did win the pistol. That's quite nice.
That's beautiful.
That's a very nice touch.
That is beautiful. I love it.
Artistic direction. Thumbs up from me. And into the game we go. So indeed, it will be an eco round from ENCE. They're not really spending much of anything, if anything. They will just be targets, moving targets like it's a training map. That's how it should go. But this is going to be good just to watch Renegades and see how they deal with an Antico situation. Of course, we always bring it into question. It has vastly improved in this tournament, and we can see that they already have a player down in that secret position. They're keeping the CTs honest in the upper area, just making sure nothing untoward is going on. As it can move towards control, have a look through the windows, and Renegades can try and figure out where ENCE may be playing.
Yeah, and it should be pretty easy to adjust here for Renegades. Even if they do get into a spot of bother, they should be able to trade things out. They're playing against just absolutely nothing, so should be easy to control the situation. There's already enough information gained here by Renegades, and you can see them start to communicate that, and as it's going to get his team, rally his team towards this ramp position, and you can see everything's clear. So they've got a clear line to that bomb site now. I do wonder, how this will go, because if we think back to Mirage, ENCE opted to do a similar approach in which they didn't go for a force buy, and they get the buy-in on the following round, as you would. The thing though is that there is always shortcomings with that buy, because you can't have the AWP. You'll be limited on the utility if you want to opt for the firepower. 7, maybe with a chance. Yeah, there it is. All right, so we will get the UMP stolen away.
I didn't see or hear the glass get broken on this window pane, so I'm not sure who smashed it. I'll assume it was he got a lot of information in this round, and now ENCE will try to swarm. So they'll see what they can. They'll try to make it somewhat expensive. Those are 2 frags they find themselves with now, and Ariel's the last man standing. Got himself an AK-47 though. Distraction being run from one rifle, and another one to connect the final frag. And here we go, 8 to 9, 3 players surviving for Renegades, all good in the hood, and it's time to buy for ENCE.
Yeah, we'll see where the shortcomings are. And as I mentioned, because if you're on the T side and you understand specifically how much money your opponent has and maybe that they can't get full utility, sometimes it's just a clue that they're going to play a bit more aggressive, because they will have more disadvantages playing those slower rounds, those late rounds with less utility, so they'll want to get a kill early. So we'll see what ENCE do, if they try to go for a play like that, or if they just try to play very passive here on this CT side. Ariel will take a forward position behind the smoke. He doesn't really have too much support though, so you can see he backs away, just trying to get that early information.
Ali moving around the vents just in case. They're keeping a keen eye on that. You can see Renegades are lined up to deploy some grenades outside. Ali may do some spotting. Now at this point, there's a minute 20 on the clock. ENCE have 1 flashbang. So if they want to make a play around Secret or something like that, or anywhere else, they've got 1 flash with which to do it. Alexi B looks to be deploying it somewhere. Out the flash goes. There we go. But they're not in position to do anything with it. The smokes are up. They've been isolated from their positions, and Alexi B is being taken out. JKS has been traded by Sergey. But you can see the nervousness from Ariel. He has no idea what's going on. He looks like he's in a really nervous situation.
Yeah, the trade is very likely here. Ariel's got a lot of work to do with this M4. He's trying to do what he can, but he can't find anything, looking the wrong direction. X7 will get a trade from Hell, but there's much more work to be done. Down to half health, they know exactly where he is. Gratisfaction takes the challenge. Dancing around the crate with the Krieg is a play that will work out, as now it's just 2 remaining for ENCE. As Alu tries to capitalize on the push into Hell, but they just cannot win these 1v1s, James. And now it's up to Sergey. He's picked up an AK, which I believe he stole from JKS, but it's going to be difficult. He'll be going down the vents. They don't. Oh, Liaz is waiting, and that will be a wrap. Great round from Renegades, and once again, we have this situation. ENCE just couldn't find a way to take the initiative with their utility. It felt like that flash outside had to be more.
That was terrifying to watch from ENCE's point of view. Again, they had almost no utility. Fair enough. The flash comes out, but the smoke grenades were in the right place for Renegades, so ENCE weren't able to do whatever it was they wanted to do. But then while the smokes were up, they just seemed to be in bad spots, but not really choosing to move back. Just being in such a deep committed position and looking in 2 almost opposite directions like that is just terrifying to watch, basically. So he just got picked apart. Renegades pulling the scab off the wound, and now running some vinegar in there as well. Sergey with Kevlar and a Desert Eagle will be having a look-see, having a look around. ENCE are at maximum loss bonus. So again, he's just trying to keep that T economy honest as they look to start off on the right foot in the next round. Nasty. That's a nice frag. It will draw attention. Got some grenades to limit his options. Gratisfaction doesn't want to go too far. No need to give a 1 versus 1. Okay, unless you're supremely confident and you just don't give a damn, in which case, more power to you. Double figures now for Renegades.
Absolutely. And this round will be very different because ENCE won't feel, I think, the pressure that we had on that previous buy round where they were low on utility to try to get some action happening early on and then just being denied. We're going to see the AWP will see the full amount of utility behind this buy for ENCE. So they're in a position going into this round where they should be very confident and they can play that slow roll approach. Renegades, on the other hand, they're going to realize that too. They understand that they need to, if they have a really good round, James, I think we need to see it here, and Renegades can then assert the momentum off that.
I do wonder if ENCE spent too much money in that eco round, because when you look at the full buy here, they don't have all the grenades in the world. Alu had to be dropped in AWP because he didn't have enough cash to buy one himself, although X7 is still holding it for the time being. But you can see that there's a few players who are missing some grenades, so I do wonder if they just invested a little too much in that previous round. Maybe X7's playing a spawn. We shall see. He's going towards the ramp with the AWP, and in the meantime, Renegades take position in the lobby. No AWP for them. Gratisfaction does have a scope, however. He's got the Krieg instead. Azza looking to cause some problems outside, while Renegades look to focus on the ramp.
Yeah, X7 had that most forward spawn. Oh, there goes the flash. That is beautiful. X7 barely had any time to react to that one. And just like that, $200, boom. You got yourself ramp control, you got yourself the low bomb site control, and X7 is all he can do to communicate to his teammates. But Renegade's already on top of the site. What a fast-moving round. X7, that's a fantastic shot straight to the face of Gratisfaction. And he will be able to hold on to some of those more forward positions that Renegades really need. The push comes out of the door, and Jacob can't defend it.
That is rude from ENCE. They've got a man advantage. They so need this round, and they need all these players to survive. Azza has time. If ENCE are nervous, they might make a mistake. There are 3 players alive. 2 of them are heavily tagged. You can see Alexi B, I think he's got an elevated position, which will make things more difficult, but still, Azza, that was a bad peak for him, but he still got the kill somehow. 19 HP. 2 more players to find. You see X7 repositioning. Again, ENCE, I don't think they've won a round in this half so far, and this has to be a nervous situation. He could be moving into a crossfire. He's got to be careful. Try and check all the angles. There's a distraction being run, and Ali will deliver the kill. But that extra frag from Azza may go a long way in the future rounds. The score is tied, but it really does feel like all advantages for Renegades at the moment.
Yeah, I completely agree. That extra kill could really be huge, and honestly, it's so scary that individually Renegades are overpowering ENCE in most of the time. As you say, that peak is actually a terrible peak. Like, not only is like a left eye peak versus the right eye peak, you're against an elevated position, so kind of nutty that he picked that one up. But Azza's really showed up to this major.
I did wonder if Renegades would cool off after the break from the previous stage, because they were all running super hot like lava. But here they are, as they're still doing damage towards the end there, and the score is tied. But they do look so much more dangerous. And just the expressions on their faces, yes, not the most expressive necessarily on a good day, but after winning the pistol in the first half, we saw frustrations, at least in the communication, it seems, on the cameras. So I do wonder where their heads are at, ENCE. But they're still in with a chance. 10-10 at the moment. Lexi B on the Mag 7. They've got a better situation in terms of grenades. This might be a fast one into the A-bomb site with a grenade from Azza being lined up. Lexi B's got no idea there's a player behind him. No idea whatsoever. JKS wipes out the A site. This is a disaster for ENCE very, very quickly indeed.
Oh my god, they don't have any money. They actually just have to save. They just have to straight save. In the first 20 seconds of the round, a save is called. That is brutal. What a timing coming in. And indeed, as you mentioned, the Mag 7 not understanding that JKS was so far forward. JKS with those entries, so violent, just swinging through with 2 instant picks, and that's really created problems here for ENCE. Their money, this could be another situation, James, where they're just battling to just have money for the entire half, as we saw on the first map, and we know how that went for them. Ariel, you can see, might be the next player to have contact, trying to hold on to the AK-47, so critical that he holds on to this. And Renegades don't have great money either, so you can see that they are being slightly more conservative, not really committing for the hunts. There it is, 11-10.
Just like that. Blink of an eye and the round is over. If the T side can keep a CT side living paycheck to paycheck, then there's so much you can do. And it forces the CTs into conservative decisions, into being afraid, into being nervous. Renegades have not allowed in this entire series ENCE to have a feeling of comfort, of confidence at all on either half in any rounds. One round won by ENCE in this half so far. This is the CT side of Nuke.
Yeah,
we were talking about the shortcomings for Renegades, but look at ENCE.
Absolutely, they are in trouble for sure. Alu though has the AWP looking for that fast play through the door, and it will not happen. Renegades are playing a slower round. They're focusing towards that outside control, and they're also looking for any plays, any forward pushes that could be made for by ENCE. Obviously, there's so many different aggressive setups you can have on the CT side. So many things that you have to worry about if you're a T side to clear, and really, it's just going to be Alu. And how much can he do here? He's got he's got Aerial from main as well, who can offer something, although the smokes will come in to deny information. Aerial is committing himself here. How many can he get? The flashbang comes out. Renegades checking it. That's beautiful work from them. Very cognizant of these forward plays, and now ENCE are in trouble.
No support flashes that I could see for Aerial when he went down there. Ali was smoked off, but I didn't see any utility, just some pot shots to try and run distraction, and there are problems for ENCE again. Just shy of a minute on the clock for Renegades to capitalize on their advantages to pull ENCE out of position. They've got to worry about B. They need to worry about the Heaven position being flanked as well. Renegades still have their options available to them, and how on earth could you possibly try to go down this vent as an ENCE player unless the players towards the ramp are successful? In the MP9, maybe they did it. There will be elsewhere. Sergey being taken out. There's a quick peek, and Liaz is going to die while the bomb's getting planted. Spray from Gratisfaction. 2 versus 2, doing the best he can, looking for that second player to come through, and it's Alexi by the double doors.
That is so huge that that information just came in the doors there. So Gratisfaction knows where the last 2 players are. He needs JKS to activate to get him out of trouble. JKS needs to push faster. Gratisfaction will be pushed down in the corner, trying to survive for as long as he can, but they don't know what JKS is. Maybe, just maybe, enough time was bought. Holding the defuse. There goes JKS! Picks it up, and that is so bad for ENCE. I cannot express it enough. What a save from JKS, swinging in at the perfect moment. Gratisfaction buying time so that he could actually go and do that to make that play to save the round. And Renegades change. They move to 12. They're 4 away from 2-0ing ENCE here and making their way to the semi-finals.
This is absolutely crazy. I don't know if there was some confusion in the comms or something, or ENCE were convinced that the player was coming from Decon. Double doors were open for business, and it was 3 kills towards the end of that round for Renegades. And ENCE are in a forced buy situation. They've got almost no utility. They've not had any success really on the outside. Aerial, they may be good for 2. He won't be. Fast moving round now. Alu looking for teeth, moving into the A site and moving along the outside, being really careful. You can see the nerves here for ENCE. They've got a man advantage for the time being, trying to keep control of that squeaky door position. It's been blown off, and that might come into play later.
And once again, there's no nades now ready for ENCE at this point. Oh, the miss there is huge! What a huge miss from Alu there. That is a problem. I don't know what you can do about that, because now the bomb site is gone. That was a shot that's supposed to connect, deny entry, and now Alexi swings in, gets punched by JKS, gets caught out of position, and JKS doesn't stop, gets himself a triple in this round. And Renegades, they shouldn't have been able to make that work so clean, James.
ENCE, I don't know if they're having a giant adrenaline dump or what, but honestly, like, the score doesn't tell the story. Look at the half. Look at the half. It is 7 rounds to 1 for ENCE on the CT side of Nuke. They're not having success outside. They're not having success inside. They're being out-aimed. They're being out-fragged. They are being dominated and exploited by the likes of Renegades, who are 3 rounds away from a 2-0.
Oh, you can see how bad that feels. The frustration there for Alu. And for me, you know, I really had this series as pretty much everybody else did. I felt like it was just going to be won on the map pool. I felt like Renegades wouldn't match up against ENCE's map pool, and that was going to be a wrap, and that a 2-1 would maybe be the best case. But Renegades here have shown their focus and have shown their preparation, their composure. They had a rough couple months leading up to the major. You could see that, you know, they went down 0-2, James. They managed to fight their way back. They ran it all the way back, and over the course of the tournament, they started to, you know, get rid of that ring rust, started to, you know, really feel out their gameplay. And look at them now, peaking at the correct moment, but it's not done just yet. Although that said, ENCE are in a very weak position now. They're on a save. They do have a few dangerous weapons, but ultimately they don't really have that much.
ENCE are in so much trouble. They've been in trouble since the beginning of the series, and it has not improved. It has not got better, it's only got worse. Renegades in full control. These rounds haven't been much of an issue. There was a scare maybe once in this series so far, and they deal with it for the most part. Gratisfaction 180, okay. And there it is. Doesn't matter at this point how many frags you get. It's 14-10.
Yeah. And this is that spot too where the experience starts to be really important. You're about to get it over the line. Everything looks like it's stacked in your favor. Everybody's hitting their shots. You know, the other team looks like they're broken. They're whiffing. The pressure's getting to them. You are in the position where you can just clinch the match. And that's the spot where you have to make sure you don't defeat yourself. But I do think that Renegades, all these players, they have a lot of experience now. They should be good to go, keeping themselves focused until the job has been done.
With the consistent performance we have seen of late from Renegades, you do wonder how far they can go. Big round for ENCE. It has to be now. It has to be now. They can't fail anymore. They can't be dominated anymore by the likes of Renegades, who are looking for some kind of aggression. There are more grenades now for ENCE. You can see those grenades around main. They've been such a problem for ENCE to deal with, but this time they won't be in awkward positions on the outside. They won't be isolated, trying to look in two directions at once. Renegades like that squeaky position in the meantime, with angles towards the roof. Alexi B's going to get taken out. They full play that position. The flashbangs are still good. Sergey, can he find two? He's got to find two. He does. He keeps it. He keeps them in with a chance. X7's got to be careful. He can't fight to the death. He can't make it 1 versus 3 for Ariel.
Oh, the bomb's gone down as well. Ariel will pick up a frag. X7 swings in at the perfect moment, but now it's down to Azza. He has a lead on the health. He's only got a couple flashbacks, but he has plenty of time. Ariel nails it. Azza's done. And then stay alive for another round in this one, but their money is not perfect, James, and Renegades have very deep pockets, so they're going to be loving it.
That could be a blessing in disguise for Renegades. It's going to be harder for ENCE to defend with less than they had in the previous round, but it seems we do have a crowd here after all. They've been quiet for a while. 3 rounds behind are ENCE. It's not too late to turn things around, but this time they're fighting with pots and pans. MP9s, French guns are out. There are 3 defuse kits on the 5 players. Could be a fast one from Renegades. We've got smoke grenades to isolate Ariel from his position. LXB of the MP9 can't even get a crosshair in the right place. Sergey's in a horrible position again. Can he find 2? He can't. Look at all the frags. Alu, it's 1 versus 4 with 1:35. And he is going to be hunted. Surely Renegades are on the cusp of something great.
Alu, he'll do what he can. Needs to keep this up really if he can, and getting a forward kill will be a good way to do it, but there it is, a better peak for Gratisfaction, and 15-11, match point for Renegades, looking at securing a spot in the semi-finals here at the Berlin Major. I think pretty much everybody, except Chad of course, had them pegged to be defeated against ENCE. Even though, you know, Alexi B is on the way out, it didn't seem to really impact the team and their performance in the stages of the Major leading into this. But now we see the weakness, but also I think more importantly we see the hard work, the grit, the determination. We see the strength from Renegades, and it is something to witness. I'm really enjoying thoroughly the Counter-Strike that they're showing us.
Attack timeout from Renegades, keeping the focus. The game is not won yet. You're still playing a very dangerous opponent, a very high-ranked opponent, and they're only 4 rounds behind. They've got nothing to fight with, but nothing can be taken for granted. This half has been 9-2 for Renegades. ENCE have gone missing almost all the time. They've been reset every time they've won a round, and there are almost no more rounds to win for them. Only 4 players with SMGs, X7 with a Deagle. You can't have a round prepared for something like this if you're ENCE. Surely, this is it for Renegades.
Yeah, I mean, these are the ones, right, that are very dangerous because the pacing of them can be very quick and very difficult to prepare yourself for. So, you know, Renegades trying to... they had the pause. They know exactly what's coming in this round. They know that ENCE are on the ropes economically. They know that ENCE are going to be buying everything, that there's going to be SMGs, there'll be forward setups, there'll be all kinds of tricks. ENCE have to pull every single trick out of the bag to stay alive. And Ariel will be perhaps the first hurdle for Renegades as they start to progress in the outside positions. Lots of presence shown here from Renegades. No smokes just yet though. We'll see them flowing across just now. Always trying to mix up the timings of that. There goes the push. Ariel will catch one, pushing out with those smokes from main. Chance here for ENCE. In comes Jacob for the punish. Wow, okay, that fair enough. The UMP, the vertical shot works out for Ariel.
40 seconds for Renegades. Alexi B's in a real tough what to deal with. Liaz has got a pre-fire, a different angle, but he walked through at the wrong time. It's a 5 versus 2. Maybe there was no need to push forward, but how could you expect someone to be there? 30 seconds, and it could be a question of damage at this point for Renegades, because if they take players out, if they stop them from collecting rifles, should they lose the round, then that might be enough for the rounds to come. Oh, Sergey, he's being careful. He's shown presence, but maybe it's best to fall back now with the MP9. 14 seconds to remain. He's going to find some players to frag, at least. Alu showing some presence, and there's Sergey from the back. And ENCE make it to 12.
All right, so so there's a couple of things going on there, of course. One, again, Renegades perhaps not going to have the cleanest drills when it comes to handling rounds like that. And it seemed like they didn't quite know what to do, especially after losing a fight against Ariel there, when he picked a really good timing to swing out as those smokes came in from Renegades. And then they just slowed down, and the SMGs are so fast moving. However, it feels like they're up against rifles again now, James. They've been successful the whole half against rifles. They should be fine.
Where are the ENCE fans at? You better make some noise for your team if you want them to win. That said, it's not too late to defect to Renegades. I'm sure Chad will forgive you. 1 minute 40. JKS is creeping. Will he be seen in the corner of the smoke? Alexi B's looking for it. He doesn't see him! That's a huge headshot for JKS. Closer to the smoke normally means a disadvantage, but Alexi couldn't see him. He couldn't see him, and it's a big 5 versus 4 for Renegades. That's the advantage they may have been fishing for in a previous round, and maybe it'll be enough this time. Again, it's not too late to defect. Turn your jersey inside out, maybe. But ENCE are still in this. They are still the ones with the map control, despite them being 4 versus 5.
Then you have a handful of flashbangs now, and the push comes in towards that lobby position. X7, he's going to make this huge, but it's absolutely nothing. It's all Renegades there. Alu is all that stands. 4 versus 1. 3 angry Aussies and an angry Norwegian there, ready to take this series against ENCE to push themselves into that semi-finals. All that stands in their way is Alu coming up into the heaven position, looking to get his first peek. He will be denied. Renegades through to the semis.
Massive performance from Renegades. They did not allow anything there for ENCE. Complete asphyxiation. That is a very big statement to the rest of the teams in this tournament. Renegades continue their consistency.